Hey there, welcome to an episode of Hiker Homily. And it's going to be quite an episode because there was some talk at some of the hiker places online about marking your camp. For those of you who don't know what the quotes mean, that is a nice term for peeing or sometimes pooping around the perimeter of your camp. The question was basically, is there anything to this? Because it's a long time debated myth among even sometimes gardeners, but people who live out in the countryside, people who do a lot of stuff in the wilderness and things, that it's effective at keeping animals from coming into your camp because, human scent, we don't want to mess with that. Okay, so here we go. This is my take on marking your camp, okay? It's such a ridiculous thing. It's not necessarily going to work. And I know it's one of those things where you're always going to have people, I've done it for 30 years and never had a single animal come into my awesome. Woo! It's just one of those things where you're always going to get people who say, well, I've done it and this and that. Cool. Thank you for your anecdotal story. You have absolutely zero proof that your pee is the thing that kept animals. It could be just sheer blind luck. It could be a bunch of other things. It could be that you yourself give off a scent that warns animals away. Who knows? It's not necessarily your pee. Maybe that was a small contributing factor. Sure, why not? But in reality, no, that doesn't do it. The reason why you see like other animals marking their territory is because either those animals have, number one, specific scent glands, so they're not actually peeing on things, or when they do pee on things a certain amount of time, they're also activating their scent glands, and that scent is released at the same time as the urine, and so it gets into the urine. And then that scent warns off, or in some cases attracts. Sometimes animals will mark territory because they want, like if it's a male, they want a female to come in, or a female, they want a male to come in and know that they are there and stuff like that. Or it is for warding things off, and it's a certain scent. Humans do not have scent glands like that, so that doesn't work that way. For those animals that don't have scent glands and it really is urine, especially the time if it's a predator, it's because the meat-eating predator has certain aminos and pheromones in the urine that advertise it as, non-meat eaters can smell that and realize that's a predator scent. Maybe I don't want to hang out here. It's not like a force field where a deer will like, that scent, and like 160 degree the other direction. No. So it's not like a force field, but it might warn others off if they specifically smell a predator because, okay, there's a predator around here. I don't want to be around here, because that could be dangerous. The problem is human urine, we're not predators, we're omnivores, and even if we eat meat as a regular part of our diet in every meal, that's not necessarily going to mark us. Not to mention the fact that you're underestimating a lot of animals' olfactory ability. A lot of these animals can smell you just fine without you urinating all over the outside of your camp. They absolutely can. They very much have good sense of smell, and they don't need your pee. They know there's a human there, and that's not necessarily going to discourage them. So really, there's no use in doing that. You're also dealing with a case where the person who asked this question online did not specify where they were camping. If I'm on a a pretty popular trail, and I come upon a flat space that's used by most of the hikers on that trail, if it's a long distance trail. We're having a mosquito issue out here in the valley. But this is a popular trail, and people do overnighters on it and stuff like that. So you come across this little area that's perfect for a camp spot. Well, chances are you're not the only one. Whoever's hiking on that trail that whole season are going to be stopping at that place and at least hanging out there, sometimes making camp there and stuff. So you pissing or pooping, even worse, in random places around this campground. Come on now. Enough people do that, and the scent will discourage not animals but humans from being able to use it as a campground. It's ridiculous. So, yeah. Not to mention there are a few people who would be considered scientists and experts who say that you have more of a chance of attracting certain animals into your camp because there is enough of a salt content in human urine that they're going to be like, I wonder if there's more salt, because a lot of these animals, deer, bear, things like that, I like salt. Let's see if there's more. And they'll come into your camp and stuff like that. So it is. The best way to keep your camp varmint free is to follow the standard leave no trace principles. Keep all of your scented stuff, your food, and anything else that could be construed as a scented food item, even if it's not a food item, like say a deodorant stick and things like that. Keep that in a canister, and it should be a certain distance away from your camp at night when you're sleeping, or you do a hang and hang it up. And don't leave things in your camp that will attract animals and critters. That's the best way to do it. Peeing around the edge of your campsite, no, that's not the solution. There's just no. And then some people go as far, scat and stuff like no, because that kind of thing works for specific animals who are predators and have specific markers. Yes, for humans, that's not necessarily going to work. It may even backfire. You may attract everything from varmints to more insects into your camp because of you marking your territory. So don't mark your territory. It's just much better for you to just camp properly with the right non-lazy system in place, so that you're not prepping food right in the middle of your campsite, so that residue gets everywhere and the smell gets there. Cook outside of where you're gonna sleep. Store your food in a canister or in a bear bag, in a hanging situation away from where you're sleeping, and you will have much less problems with animals, and it's much more effective than peeing around your camp. So there you go. You guys have a great time, and thanks for watching as always. And if you have any experience, by the way, with peeing in your camp, or not peeing in your camp, please do as usual in the comments down below, or you can get a hold of me at hikingforhealthca@gmail.com, and I will talk to you next time.